Let's go over some Spurs news and notes that you may have missed. And then, Ken, could Wemby actually win the MIP?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs on Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Happy Thursday, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great day. And we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen every single day. You guys make the wise choice. Coming here to Locked On Spurs, catching up on all things silver and black, so much more. Again, subscribe wherever you can, iTunes, Spotify, Ken's 5 Plus app. The list goes on and on. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Okay, so what are we looking at today? Well, I'm going to catch up with some quick Spurs notes that you may have missed, and then bring in our guest, Jack Thompson, formerly with San Antonio Sports Star. We're going to be discussing Wemby and the DPOY, not the MVP, but the MIP, the most improved player. Yes, Vegas thinks that Wemby could walk away with that award. We're going to be discussing whether that's possible, and then talk about you guys, some comments you guys are leaving over at the Locked On Spurs YouTube page. By the way, one of them, y'all gave smoke to Jack, and Jack responds to the smoke, and he gives it right back. We're going to be discussing that in just a few seconds. But first, some Spurs news that you may have missed. With the 2024 French Olympic Games just right around the corner, Victor Wembanyama will be representing Team France, and he is eager. He's thrilled to be participating in front of the home crowd. He spoke with a bunch of media basically for a pre-Olympic press conference. He says, quote, "It's still a dream to be able to be at the Olympics. I see it almost like any other sporting experience, but even more demanding. Mentally, the emotion is tremendous. It's hard to realize that it's really the Olympics. Of course, it's different from when I used to watch them on TV. It's still a dream," end quote. So it's a dream come true for Wemby. Now, Wemby and Team France are a bit of a slide. They lost their last 4 exhibition games. That's not discouraging Wemby. He says, quote, "We're on the right track because of our energy of their entire group. Players and coaching staff is incredible." So Wemby's excited. He ain't worried about that losing skit that Team France is on, but they're loaded. Not only just Wemby, it's Gobert, it's Batum, it's Fournier. I mean, it's just up and down that roster. It's a who's of NBA players and French players. So Wemby's in high spirits. He's eager for the Olympic Games to start, and they will start group play against Japan, Germany, and Brazil to start their gold medal run. So Wemby is excited. In other Spurs news, according to a report from Yahoo Sports, the Spurs were interested in a pair of guards out of Cleveland, Darius Garland and Andrew Nembhard. So this was before the Spurs ended up signing Chris Paul. But yeah, according to Yahoo Sports, the Spurs were looking at those two guys to come to San Antonio. And it's easy to see why. They're younger. They're entering their prime years. They can stay with the rebuild longer than maybe what CP3 can do. And of course, pairing up with Wemby, either one of those players would have done well. But interesting to note, though, Yahoo Sports says that the Spurs are going to continue monitoring Nembhard moving forward and his situation with Cleveland. Now, he just re-signed a massive deal with Cleveland. Unless they want to make a deal for him and take on that contract, there's that. But yeah, also, the report also did say that the Cavs were not going to let Darian go, and I can see why. They actually rebuffed any inbound trade interest for Garland to date, and that includes the Spurs. But again, it's easy to see why the Spurs wanted both of those guys to join San Antonio. Look, regardless, the Spurs got plenty of guard depth. I mean, a lot. That CP3, Trey Jones, Malachi Branham, Stephon Castle, Blake Wesley. They got a logjam at that point guard spot. We'll see how that continues moving forward. In other Spurs news, I had a recent Q&A with Shemaiah Reed. You can see that on kens5.com/Spurs. Now, why him? Well, he's a local musician in San Antonio, and he created a new song dedicated to Wemby. It's called Wemby the Crown. So it's all about Wembanyama dominating the court. In the Q&A, I asked him about, well, how much did the city of San Antonio influence you? The Spurs fans influence you? As a matter of fact, they influenced him tremendously, because in the lyrics, he talks about Spurs Twitter and how oftentimes everybody's warring on that platform. So it is out now. Go check it out. The song is actually there too. You can hear it. A lot of energy in it. Talking about Wemby being the next, the future. It's a really good interview. Again, go to kens5.com/Spurs to check out that article and read what the local musician had to say about Wemby and the Wemby the Crown song. There you have it. Some quick Spurs news and notes. When we get back, we're going to have Jack Thompson, formerly of San Antonio Sports Star. We're going to be discussing MIP, Most Improved Player, and Wemby. Yes, Vegas believes that Wemby could be holding up that trophy at the end of next season. We're going to be discussing that and your comments. That's next right here on Lock. But first, I want to talk to you about Game Time. You want to go to gametime.co right now. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes tickets getting them faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closest pitch. Killer last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, the lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Event cancellation protection, they got that as well. Job loss protection. Pretty much you can find tickets for any type of event in your area with Game Time. They got flash deals, zone deals. So what are those? So zone deals, basically you can save even more when you choose the section you want to sit in and let Game Time pick the seats. Flash deals, basically you can save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or event. And last minute deals, you can save up to 60% off buying last minute tickets for sports, comedy, theater, what have you. You need a ticket, you want to go to Game Time right now. Also, that Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use this code LOCKEDONNBA. That'll get you $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guarantee. Hey, I also want to talk to you about Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Go there right now if you're in San Antonio, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. They are open every single day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and they got a friendly staff. Great menus, not only just drinks, they got mini donuts as well. Speaking of drinks, they also have we got dairy alternative. You have their signature coffee drink, which is called the Mudsling. What else? You got caffeine-free drinks. What else you got? You got lattes, you got cold brews. I mean, pick something that you're craving. Mudslingers will have it there for you. What else you got? Well, you can follow them on social media at Mudslinger SATX. Very interactive. They're always promoting new drinks that they whipped up. Very, like I said, they just really interact with fans, and I like that about them. Really talk to the community to get their ideas on new drinks. Hey, they also have the Alien, which is a drink made in honor of Victor Wembanyama, but it's part of the Lightning Bolt series. Now, here's the thing. They're going to start using a new mix. So usually they're made with Red Bull. Now, they're not going to be, well, basically Red Bull's not going to be the default anymore. If you want it, though, they'll add it for you. But the default would be Lotus Energy. 7 power plant extracts for you to enjoy drinks. It's the same effects as Red Bull, but again, 7 power plant extracts. So the default will be Lotus Energy, but if you want Red Bull, they'll have it for you. You want to go to there right now, San Antonio, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive, open every single day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Go there right now because life is too short for a bland coffee.
A Jedi uses the Force. To subscribe to Locked On Spurs, pass on what you have learned.
And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs. He is Jack Thompson. He's back, everybody, for his weekly visit right here on Los. Make sure to follow him on X at Jack_Thompson33. There you go. See, Jack, I was going to tell you, where are the 3 goggles? Where are the 3 goggles? You remembered right away. Hey, by the way, I know we had the discussion about New Balance a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Can I show you some New Balance that I found and I had to buy?
Of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those are sick. Hell yes. Those are awesome.
Yeah, I love these, man.
Love those.
These are awesome, man. Is it just me or like other companies trying to copy the New Balance style? If that makes sense.
They definitely are. Yeah.
That spider webby looking plastic around there. Yeah. But I thought you would appreciate that. Also, too, even though they're not intentionally made for Spurs in the Fiesta colors, they're called neon lights, but they work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those are awesome, man. Love them.
Yeah. Oh, so why is Jack here today? Well, we're going to be discussing the article that came out a couple days ago over at kens5.com/Spurs, and that is odds makers are projecting Wemby to win, not the defensive year. That's for another topic. Not MVP, but in the category of the most improved player for next season. Jack knows the topic, and I told him ahead of time, obviously, so he can be prepared. He had an interesting reaction. That's what we're talking about. Can Wemby win the MIP? Jack, your thoughts?
I mean, technically, yeah, I guess that he can, but I think Wemby is a different caliber of player than that award goes to. I mean, LeBron didn't win it in his second year. Kobe didn't win it in his second year. Timmy didn't win MIP in his second year. Like, superstars, that's just not an award. Sure, like by every definition of the award, yeah, Wemby, he could win it. He could, have the best jump of any player in the league next year. But I don't see MIP going to a player the caliber. We don't usually see that. It's usually a 2-3 or maybe a tier 2 type of player that wins it. Not a tier 1 superstar, face of the league, future best player in the league. Typically does not win MIP. So I don't see Wemby getting that award.
Well, DraftKings has that NBA future at plus 1,000 odds for Wemby. He's tied with Evan Mobley at plus 1,000. So they think those two guys are the front runners. Obviously, it's way, way, way too early to really sort out who will win MIP. But I'm going to say, yes, he can. I think he can. You talk about shattering records. Is it uncommon for Wemby in his rookie season to shatter records? The multiple triple doubles, the fastest to do it in 30 minutes. What else? Winning 3 rookie of the year, rookie of the month awards back to back. Unanimous selection. I mean, where can we begin? Actually, I got him right here. I'll read you the stats of the records that Wemby has done. We mentioned the triple doubles. Yeah. He also became the first player in NBA history to average at least 20 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks in fewer than 30 minutes per game in a season. That stat alone tells me that he could probably see a significant jump. If he was doing that in 30 minutes a game, less than 30 minutes, and they unleash him next year, those numbers can really take a spike and just be eye-opening, more so than what he did in his rookie season. Also, the wild card in all this, Jack, and get your thoughts on this, is Chris Paul. If anybody's going to feed him and get those numbers up from the points to rebounds to whatever, Chris Paul is going to have Wemby in the right position to dominate. I think he can do it. I think there's a chance that he can get MIP.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, he's going to make, the necessary jump win MIP. There's no doubt about that. He probably, like you said, if he's unleashed, he could have the biggest in every category of any player. There's no doubt about that. And he could have an MIP worthy. All I'm saying is you typically don't see players of the caliber for that award. I mean, it's typically like guys, let's see, who won MIP
I get it, like your
last. Like, could you tell me who won?
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about.
Was it not? No, Nas Reed was 6.
I don't even know.
That's what I'm saying. They're not going to give Wemby an award that you don't even remember that was given out less than 6 months. Like, I just don't see the NBA giving Wemby that award. While he may deserve it statistically, it's just, I think he's too big for that award. And I see him getting over that, like first team All NBA, scoring title, something of that caliber. Definitely the player of the year. I mean, I feel like Wemby's going to fall out of bed and win that one next year.
Yeah, easy.
I think he's more likely to win MVP than MI, to be honest. If he makes this little jump that we think he does, the Spurs, if they can get into 40 plus wins, get into the playoffs, I mean, I could see if it's that big of a jump for Wemby, then it's going to be a huge jump for the Spurs too. And I quicker see him win MVP than MI.
Well, Tyrese Maxey won it last year, so there you go. But
Tyrese Maxey, that's a fairly big name player in the NBA. He's a great up and coming player, but he's second fiddle on a team that can't get out of the second round of the East.
Right.
Wemby, far larger.
Yeah. Just for me, you talk about like the NBA has never given out that award to that caliber of player. Well, there's a first time for everything. I'm pretty sure Wemby wouldn't mind having that trophy on his mantle. Not only did I make Defensive Player of the Year, can you imagine that? He was DPOY and MIP in the same season. I mean, my goodness.
Could legitimately be, if he makes the jump that we're all thinking around, Chris Paul feeding him, making it, and just life on the Spurs on the court being much, he could really win MIP, DPOY, first team all defense,
MVP,
and maybe first team all NBA too. Like Wemby could literally.
Yeah, and I mentioned the Chris Paul factor too. There's another factor that makes me hopeful. Yes, I ultimately will he win MIP? Probably not. But what makes me hopeful is that they're running it back practically. They're running it back, and all these guys that they're running back, they're familiar with him already. And Devin Vassell talked about it to close out the season. I'm familiar more with Wemby. I'd love to develop more rapport with him. Trey Jones, he was the best Spur on the roster to feed Wemby the most. Obviously, Chris Paul is going to change. They got themselves a legit point guard, young legit point guard, or guard, I should say, Stephon Castle. Yeah, I think this is a situation where Wemby is set up not only just to win MIP, but as you mentioned, be in the MVP conversation. Now, for that, I think the Spurs are just going to have to make playoffs or something crazy like that for him to win. But he will be in a position. He'll probably be in the discussion for MVP. DPOY, yeah, that's a given. I'm going to be shocked if he doesn't. First team, All NBA, all those good awards, they're coming. But MIP, that's interesting. So let's look at last year. So last year, in his rookie season, mind you, he averaged 21 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, 3.6 blocks per game, led the league in that category. Fourth in assists. Oh, now, mind you, this is against all rookies, okay? But this is what he averaged, though. Nevertheless, 3.9 assists, 1.2 steals per game. That's in his rookie season. To get MIP based off that, man, he'll have to average somewhere near 30 points.
Yeah.
I
think Wemby's going to average an easy 26, 13, and 5 block. Easy.
But would that be enough for MIP? Because you're technically looking at a 4 or 5 point increase.
Yeah, typically the player who wins typically the player who wins MIP is making a double-digit scoring lead this season, or tremendous assist leap, or what have you. I mean, I think as a whole, Wemby will probably have the biggest jump across all stat categories. But there's going to be someone, year 2, 3, or 4 that this summer it's just going to click for them, and they're going to go from 4 or 5 points a game to like 12 to 15 points a game and be a key contributor on a team that makes a big step. And I think, a player like that, probably a little bit more deserving than the greatest prospect of all time, second year. Also, has any player ever won Rookie of the Year and then MIP? That's an interesting stat. I don't think anyone's ever won that.
I don't think he's ever done that. Yeah, and I'm also anticipating too, and I'm actually surprised it didn't happen his rookie season, a quad dub coming. It's going to happen.
Quad dub is just coming.
It's just a matter. And like I said, Jack, I think last year I was more surprised it didn't happen. I really penciled him into getting at least one in his rookie season because he came close several times. Off by 5 rebounds, off by 3 something like off by a couple blocks, something like that. I think he'll probably be the first to record multiple quad dubs in a season. I'm not gonna be shocked if that happens. Yeah.
The biggest thing is the shooting around Wemby. Once we get, this year is going to be a lot better. So, once we get a bunch of knockdown shooters around Wemby and he's got people to pass to out of the double team that, it's a pretty solid guarantee they're going to make the shot. Yeah. Quad doubles are coming because he could, you give Wemby 35 plus minutes a night, 10 blocks and 10 rebounds. That's coming. Yeah. That's coming easy. Forget about 10 points.
Yeah. I think it's going to be one of those things where we're going to get used to Wemby getting quad dubs on the regular. And then when he does it, and be like, oh, he did it. He had a normal game. He had a triple double, something to that effect.
Yeah.
But as far as MIP, that's probably going to be a tough one. It is interesting, though, how, we always say don't count out Vegas, don't, disparage them. They know something. But he would have to have, can you imagine the leap he'll have to have to win?
Yeah, he'd have to average, huge. I think, like 13 and 7 blocks. And he'd have to, and then from there, you're putting that's MVP numbers, not MI numbers.
Right.
I think he's just already leveled himself out of winning that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. He could do it. I think he could legit do what you just said throughout that stat average. I think he could probably do it. Yeah.
I think he could definitely do it. But do we think that is too large stat for MI? Has there ever been a player who is MI and all-team All-NBA? Because if Wemby's averaging 7, he's first-team All-NBA.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah. I can't imagine that there's ever been a player who is MI and all. To me, MIP is a fantastic award to win. But it's also sucked last year, but this year you were good.
Yeah.
So we're going to give you MIP. He was a phenom last year, and he's going to be a god next year.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I think he's already just leveled up out of that range.
Okay, we're going to nerd out real fast, everybody. We'll explain what we mean. Do you think Wemby is at SS1 or SS2 or SS3 right now? See what I mean? You
I
see,
think he's 2. I think he's 2. There's still another
he's
gear to
2.
go.
Yeah, yeah. You see, I think he jumped 1 and went right to 2.
Yeah.
You know that. And for those of y'all who are not nerds like me, basically that just means Super Saiyan 1, 2, or 3 from the Dragon Ball Z universe. Basically, that's just the levels of what fighters can
Yeah.
reach
I think
as
he's
their
gonna
strength
be
and
Super
keys.
Saiyan this year. He might reach that Super Saiyan 3 towards the back half.
Yeah,
And then I think from now on we're gonna see Super Saiyan 3 and then Ultra
yeah.
Instinct.
Well, Ultra Instinct Wemby is basically MVP level.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
gotta be
that's
MVP level.
yeah. You just because basically Ultra Instinct you can't touch him. Literally, you
Yeah.
can't touch the fighter.
Yeah. Can't
And you can't defend him in this case for Wemby.
Yeah,
But
I just
you know,
watched the Tournament of Powers the other day. Just ran to
how
all of
was
it
it?
again. It was so
So good.
the action is so
It is. It really is. Real quick before we jump off topic and talk about the Locked On Spurs fans in a bit, but Wemby for MIP, it'd be a great trophy on his mantle. I think he would push it away. I mean, this guy, wants all the awards.
Yeah.
But what's scary about it, Jack, though, and I'll read you his quote here, is when towards the end of the season, when things were winding down already, and he was asked about his play, he says, "quote I am young, getting better every day, and I think we could say that for every month to the next one. The good thing is my margin of progression. I don't even know how big it is. I can get so much better, and this is what I'm trying to do every game, every week, every month." So even he says he hasn't reached the level that he thinks he's good at, despite putting up what he put up.
Yeah, I mean, I fully believe next year Wemby will average 25 and 12 rebound 5.
But don't you see? But is that MIP? I mean, technically, it qualifies as MIP.
Yes.
I mean,
like,
it is. I mean,
his stat jump
the qualifications is
MIP worthy.
Increase and then yeah.
No, I completely agree with you there.
But will
his
he win it?
stat
That's the key.
increase
Yeah.
will be right there with anybody up. I'd be leveled up out of that.
All right, well, there you have it. Those are our thoughts on Wemby and the MIP. Vegas thinks he has one of the best shots. He's tied with Evan Mobley of the Cavs.
See, that's a player, Evan Mobley, tier 1 or tier 2 player on a good team, has still left a lot of desired draft. Been really good, but he was drafted number 1, correct? I mean, he hasn't been the dominant pick.
Right.
So yeah, I could definitely see Evan Mobley solid jump. That is very plausible. Wemby in year 2, I'd like it. It'd be cool, but
it'd be cool, it'd be cool. All right, those are our thoughts on Wemby and the MIP. Vegas thinks Wemby is one of the leading of the pack. That's it. It's just Wemby and Mobley. Those are the 2 teams that oddsmakers have. 2 players that the oddsmakers have capturing the award. Obviously, again, it's way too early. But those are our thoughts on that. Let Jack know at Jack_Thompson33 and me know over at the Locked On Spurs YouTube page. Leave a comment and we'll read it. Hey, speaking of comments, we're going to read your comments, Locked On Spurs fans. We're going to have a reaction to that. That's coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs.
Hey, this is Hot Rod.
And I'm RC from Cybertron Spurs.
And you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
And welcome back to Locked On Spurs. He is Jack Thompson. Make sure to follow him on X at Jack_Thompson. Let him know that he's completely wrong. Well, you know what? You did let him know that he's completely wrong. You did. Locked On Spurs fans, you did. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. I told Jack that during the break. I said, Jack, somebody took a shot at you. And Jack was like, what? Smoke? Is there smoke in here? Bring on the smoke.
What is that I
smoke? All right, let's go to talk about you guys, Locked On Spurs fans, the comments you're making. We'll get to the Jack comment in a bit. But the first one is up from Guadalupe Chavira, 1227. He's talking about the marketing rumor and all that. Speaking of smoke, that smoke around the Spurs and marketing. He says, Jack, quote, if we can't get marketing, what about his teammate, Walker Kessler, 71245? What do you think about that as a consolation prize? Do you think Utah would part with Kessler should the Spurs go after another big dude in the paint? Because as of right now, it feels like that's the weakest point of the Spurs roster is depth at the big.
Yeah, I mean, Walker Kessler. I mean, if you roll out a 5 with Wemby and Walker Kessler, that's 2 best shot blockers in the. Yeah, I mean for the right price. Yeah, I'm down for a Walker Kessler off. No, I have no problem, no quarrel with that. Let's do it. Great lob threat.
I mean, talk about a
Yeah.
consolation prize, right? Oh
Yeah,
no,
dude,
not Kessler.
yeah, I mean, I would definitely take Walker Kessler off. That'd be a huge grab, and he can play with Wemby, can play without him. So yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
That'd be an awesome grab. I've also seen as a not a consolation prize, but I've seen rumors about a Keldon Johnson for a Cam Johnson trade.
Well,
Which
I'm
again,
glad you
I
brought
would
that up. Oh, well, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I'm glad you brought that up.
no,
Actually, if you reread the report, it wasn't a report. It was just somebody's opinion.
yeah, it's just an opinion, but I mean,
Yeah.
that's a team that they're looking to sell.
Yeah.
They've got nothing worth holding on for there. Already got rid of their best player.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if we could go get Cam Johnson, I feel like that would be an ideal fit, Nick, because that guy's a straight up.
But Kessler, imagine Kessler and Wemby. I mean, no,
It'd be
number one defense in
scary.
the league.
It
No,
would
nobody's
be
scoring in the
scary.
paint.
No,
Yeah.
it would
He,
be
I,
scary.
although this, I know this comment is not on the list of comments that we picked, but there was another Locked On Spurs fan that mentioned that Zach Edey is going to spell trouble for Victor Wembanyama this.
Yeah, let's put Zach Edey out on who's in
There
trouble.
you go. There you go. Thank you for that comment. We appreciate it. Now for some smoke.
Yes,
Jack
let's
Thompson
hear it.
got smoke, and
Let's
he
hear
loves the
it.
smoke. From Joshua Burns, 3167. By the way, Joshua, follow Jack on X if you want to take a shot back at him,
Please
too. Or you leave it
do.
at the Locked On Spurs. Okay, here we go. So he's reacting to when the last time you were on, we were talking about the Spurs roster and how you were all about. Well, you know what? Here we go. Quote, he says, I don't know what Jeremy Sohan, I misunderstand. Anyway, okay, I see what he did. Okay, very important to put commas, people. Okay, I don't know what Jeremy Sohan Jack Thompson is watching. Barnes greater than Sohan. He doesn't agree with you. He doesn't think that Sohan is all that. He even thinks that Barnes is better than Sohan right now. What do you think?
I mean, Barnes is a better shooter. Yeah, he's definitely a better shooter. He's got more basketball IQ than Jeremy. Played significantly more NBA seasons, but what else is Barnes better at me? I mean, I love Harrison Barnes. I've got receipts in my messages that I can go back, me talking about the Spurs need to trade for Harrison Barnes because he is a vet that we need. So I am over the moon happy with Harrison. Not a shot on him, not a shot on what does Harrison Barnes besides shoot the ball? I mean, he doesn't rebound, but he's
Stay
not
healthy.
the
That's what he does.
yeah, he stays healthy. He didn't have any injury problems.
Okay.
He's not a on ball. He's not a pass. He's not a scorer in the paint or a lob threat. He's by far a better shooter. Every type of, he is significantly better. No doubt about that. But besides that, I'm not sure you can tell me one thing that Harris definitively better. I can't think of one off the
I think
top
you
of
just
my
said it
head.
right now. He's a better shooter. He's a better
Yeah,
shooter.
besides shooting, that's it. That's literally it.
That's the one thing he's good at,
Yeah, but that's not the only thing that basketball entails. There's way more to the game than
Yeah,
shooting the
get all
ball. And,
riled up.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Harrison Barnes is a better.
And that's exactly what this Spurs team needs, right? Surround Wemby with better shooting.
Yeah, we need shooters, no doubt about that. But you look at every team that has won a champion, they've got a glue guy
Getting riled
like
up.
Jeremy Sohan. Jeremy's also in year
3, 4.
Harrison's in year what, 9 or 10?
Yeah.
Like, wait till Jeremy is in year 8, and we'll see what he's looking like with his jump shot. I mean,
Jack's going to continue this conversation
room
by
to grow.
himself.
Yeah,
Jack's
I'll
going
talk
to
to
continue
myself
by
all day.
himself on X, just a random X post on there. Like, and then another thing about Sohan and Barnes, and then another thing. Jack, you get riled up, man, when people want to give you the smoke.
No, I like talks, man. I love when people have the gun, refute what I say, and do that. You better expect mine to come flying back at you.
He is Jack Thompson. By the way, everybody, we appreciate y'all leaving Locked On Spurs
keep
comments.
bringing the smoke. I love
Yeah, keep doing that. Get Jack riled up here. Light a fire under him. Hey, Jack, as always, we appreciate you making time out of your schedule to come out here on Locked On Spurs. Everybody should follow him on X at Jack_Thompson33. Did you see the preview to the Joker 2 yet?
Yes. Yeah.
What do you think about the whole musical act of it? I'm not sold.
I wouldn't say I'm sold on it, but I think it's fantastic. I think this next one to be awesome. I don't know how I quite feel about, like the breaking out, but I mean, I'm gonna go see it. I'm intrigued. My question to you: have you seen?
Yeah,
the new?
I'm actually intrigued at that.
Oh, have you seen the Naruto Ninja Turtles crossover comic?
No, I did not hear about that. What?
Yep.
For
not
real?
here. Yeah, it's real for sure. I saved a pic. It's
Yeah,
not the
so
official
Jack's gonna pull
art,
that up
but
real
this
fast.
is actually coming out. Naruto.
Look at that. I love that. I love that artwork.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick. I can't wait.
That's gonna be awesome. Yeah. There's a couple of comic books that are coming out too. They're diving more into the GI Joe mashup.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's pretty cool. Obviously, everybody knows. No secret. Everybody's been out. The last movie, Transformers movie, they already teased it. That much. So I mean, I'm not too sure. I know I'm a lot older than you, Jack, but I'm not too sure if you're familiar with the cartoon Mask.
Is that is the movie that Jim Carrey did based on that?
No. Basically, what it is, it's supposedly in the Transformers G.I. Joe universe. So basically, Transformers, then G.I. Joe. There's that crossover, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then the concept is, back in the back in the 80s, there was this cartoon show called Mask, M-A-S-K, and it was this kind of a G.I. Joe, I guess, kind of force that had tech that was based off. So, for example, their cars would transform, yes, but not into robots. It would, hey, my doors flipped open, my wheels tucked under, and now I'm a huff. Or, hey, my motorcycle is on the road, but here comes a big pole and a helicopter blades. So the idea is, after that mashup between G.I. Joe and Transformers, they would end that because it's all part of that Hasbro universe.
Yeah, sounds dope. I mean, I literally just watched the newest G.I. Joe the other day, and I completely forgot at them hinting at the cross. So I definitely I want that to come out. I want to go back.
I want to go back and look at that warehouse because I want to see if there are any recognizable vehicles. Was there the Cobra Hiss? Was there the Bridge Layer? Stuff like that. So I'll just check that out. Nerd session's over, everybody. I promise you. I promise you. All right. Again, follow Jack on X at Jack_Thompson. Give him the smoke. He lives for that smoke. Do that right now. We thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen every single day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts. We'll be back tomorrow. All things silver and black as the off continues. Now, by the way, everybody, now begins the slow part of NBA off. We're in it now, so it'll be a couple months before we see any Spurs, but we'll keep it going right here on Locked On Spurs. Subscribe to Locked On Sports Today 24/7 streaming channel brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network. So for Jack 3 Goggles Thompson, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On.